Welcome along to this week's episode of Behind the Boxes. It is Are You OK Day, and today is the perfect time to check in on a mate, a family friend, someone you haven't spoken to for a while. Give them a buzz, give them a text, just check on them and make sure they're okay. We are in a time of our lives that we probably never ever thought that we would experience, and the Are You OK Day is a great day. And of course, you've got organisations such as Gotcha for Life, Lifeline, also Beyond Blue, that offers such great help to people who are struggling. We've got a big show coming up. Mick and Michelle Lill will be our special guests, along with Jaimee, Rodgers. But as always, first up, I must say, a big welcome and hello to my old mate, Timmy the Battler Newbold. And Battler, I've got to ask you, mate, are you okay?
Yeah, g'day, Duke. Well, yeah, we're okay. We're just chugging along here. I think week 10 of lockdown here in Sydney, but yeah, no, we're going okay. I think it's a bit like everyone. I think if you said you're all fine and everything, you haven't got to worry in the world, I think you're probably telling a few porkies, because it's not an easy time. No one, we as human beings, we're not designed to be locked down in our home and not be able to go anywhere and go into the office to work, and the kids go to school. So yeah, we're you know, you have your good and your bad days, but fortunately, I'm lucky. I've got a great partner. The boys, my two boys, keep me busy, you know, throughout the week. So, but there are plenty of people out there, Duke, who are struggling and haven't got anyone to lean on. So, yeah, just pick up the phone, message, or even or give them a call, email. Just get in contact if you're struggling, because you know it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon at all. And people have always been afraid to, you know, I think, show any signs of weakness. Well, look, you don't need to be like that anymore. There's always people around you can always have a chat to.
And it's so different now, Battler. I mean, when I was growing up I'm 60 years of age. I was born in 1960. So when I was growing up in the 60s and 70s and that sort of that era, mental health wasn't spoken about. I had a family member who suffered badly from it. I remember as a kid, and I guess the best thing about today is that, you know, social media can be terrible with the bullies and all that sort of stuff, but it can be also great in the way that people that you haven't connected with for a long while, it's so easy now to actually just flick them a message or like a post or something that they do. And as I said, the Gotcha for Life program, they do a great job.
They sure do. And we all get caught up in our own lives, Duke, doing, you know, day to day, 9 to 5 workers and working of a weekend. But it doesn't take a lot to connect in this day and age. Look, social media can be good, but it can be very, very bad at times. But one thing with social media, it is easy to connect with people, but you've always got, pick up the phone, give them a call, or send a text message. It's people have got to realise it's not a weakness anymore, Duke. It's just something a lot of people can go through, and this time, particularly this time, you know, people are struggling. So yeah, it's easy to connect with people. So we encourage everyone to do so.
Yep, it is Are You OK Day. As I said, we've got a big show coming up, and when we talk about trainers having a great run, Michelle and Michael Lill are surely at the top of the list due to the deeds of their great chasers in More Sauce and Casual Glance. I'm happy to say that they join us on Behind the Boxes today. Michelle, I'll start with you first. How much of a thrill is it for you at the moment with Usain and Willis, the kennel names of More Sauce and Casual Glance? How much of a thrill is it for you to be, you know, winning the races that you're winning and the dogs racing at their absolute peak?
Oh, it's fantastic. Like, we bred these dogs. We've been around these dogs since they were babies, you know, and just what they're doing for us, you know, like, oh, it's amazing, you know, like you dream of this, you know, you dream of breeding a litter that can come out and do all this, you know, like we're only a small kennel, and, you know, it's just amazing what they're doing for us, you know, awesome.
Yeah. Now, listen, before I get further into the dogs, I have to tell you, I love a good rom-com movie. I love, you know, movies like Notting Hill and Love Actually and all that. And I want to take you back to the beginning, guys. So you're both involved in the thoroughbred industry at the time. Mick tells me this story, Michelle, that you stalked him for about 3 months and eventually he succumbed to your advances. And as they say, the rest is history. Now, Michelle, is that the way you see it, or is it probably gilding the lily a little bit? Like,
might have been the other way around.
No, well, the truth is that like when I started working there, I worked for Mark Connors at Warwick Farm. I actually saw Mick one day walking a greyhound, And I think it was like love at first sight, really.
With the dog, not the bloke.
Yeah,
the dog.
but I did actually see him. You know, I used to see him every now and then, but at that time there was no greyhound around, so I sort of didn't really know that sort of what he was involved in and that. So I think that really, made it for me once I seen that greyhound, and then I think I was able to talk to him. Then I sort of, I think, snobbed him for like 6 months.
Yeah, I said hello every day for 6 months, and I never got a reply. And I finally got a reply. Yeah, so it was good.
I'm still trying to get over Duke loving the rom-coms just quietly.
What's going on there?
What a revelation.
What, you've never seen Notting Hill, mate? Hugh Grant, Julia Roberts?
Look, I will give a tick of approval to that. What about you, Mick?
The Notebook. The Notebook's a good one.
I agree, Shell. I agree. Yeah.
Michelle, you mentioned you were working for Mark Connors. Now, Mick, I believe you worked for legendary trainers Lee Friedman, John Hawkes. Is it true that you actually trained that greyhound you've just mentioned there, Michelle? Is it true you trained a winner from out of one of the stables? A greyhound winner, that is.
She never won a race. She was a giveaway, and I just wanted one to muck around with, just getting started. And I rented a stable across the road from Hawkesy's stables there, and just set it up, put a little fridge in there and the bed and all my stuff, and just used to swim in the horse pool. I didn't know what I was doing, but sort of learnt the ropes. I didn't have a trainer's license. An old gentleman across the road that I rented the stable off, he had a greyhound trainer's license, but he didn't have a car, so I used to lend him my car. And he'd take his dogs to the races and take mine.
Michelle, you actually worked with Mark Bell when the great Go Wild Teddy was recognised as one of the best in Australia. But your involvement with greyhounds actually goes way back before then. Your dad had dogs as well.
Yeah, Dad, who everyone knew him as Pony. So Pony John. Look, I grew up with dogs. Look, Dad always had a couple of dogs in the backyard in southwest Sydney. He's a longtime friend of Mark Bell, and we used to go over Mark's all the time. So it sort of got to where we ended up going to Wentworth Park one night. First time ever catching dogs, and the first 2 dogs I caught, actually Mark got a double that night, and he got a double with Boy and Master Havoc. So, and I thought that was an enormous thrill, and it was just at that time when the Weber Silence litter out of Properties were hitting the tracks, and I think pretty much all the whole litter won in the city. And then the Go Wild Teddy and Mean Bean litter come along, and then we were always over there pretty much once a week with them. And when they all started racing, we're pretty much at the tracks like nearly every week with them. I was always usually the catcher, I used to spend pretty much once a week at Mark Bell's place, and I got to look after his place when he went on holidays for a week. So that was a really good thrill. Go Wild Teddy had retired then. So I was looking after him, his litter mates, and all the other pups on the property and that. And it was amazing. I think that sort of even got me more hooked on the dogs. When you're around these like champions, it was just a great thrill back then. You know, awesome.
Mark certainly had a number of top liners back then, Duke. Now, Mick, let's talk about the recent run you've been having. Casual Glance, Morsels, they've been to the track 15 times combined. They've the last 15 starts. They've won 12, 3 minors. Your last 8 trips to the racetrack, all winners.
Yeah, they're pretty handy, the boys, though. Like, they got that good early burn. It makes me, they're pretty much push-button dogs, We had to take our time with them early on because they just weren't ready. There's a few age classics we could have pushed them in like it was real early dogs, but they just weren't ready, and our patience has paid off now. And I said in interviews that we'd done sort of 3-6 months ago, I said, you wait till these dogs sort of hit 3 years old and we'll be able to push the button with them and you'll see some serious race dogs. And, that's what we're looking at now. They're just in fine fettle, these boys, and there's probably a little bit more in them yet, just quietly.
Michelle, Morsels won the Grafton Sprinters Cup earlier this year in July. He's now won his last 5 at Maitland. Over the 400, then you switch him to the 450, back to the 400. You're now going to send him for the Group 2 Blacktop at the Gardens over the 515 metres. He's only ever had 1 start over a 500 at Dubbo. What sort of a program will you set for Morsels between now and those heats?
Oh, well, we'll just put him through slowly, like build him up slowly. Like, say he'll have a post to post. Then you'll have a box to box.
Box finish on.
Yeah, and then you'll go out of the boxes and give him the 500. So it gives us 3 weeks, should be enough time to sort of get him built up for that. And yeah, he should be hopefully ready to go on that day. So yeah.
Are you confident he'll run out that strong 500? We know he's got brilliant early pace. And I guess the thing is that he's going to be out in front. He's going to be out of trouble.
Yeah.
And with what he can run early, you'd expect him to lead by even the good dogs he's going to be up against. You'd expect him to lead them by 5 or 6 through the pen.
Well, that's right. Like I know his first 2 sections, it's got to put him out there, and I know the last section will probably always be his weakest section, but I mean, he runs them sections that a lot of dogs just can't keep up, so that'll probably give him the 4 or 5 lengths that he needs, and with its, extra work getting him built up, he actually might find something at the end, Maitland's a hard run, like 450s is a hard run. I think the same with Grafton. I think Grafton is even a harder run than what Maitland is. And I found that he actually got stronger towards the end of his campaign at Grafton. So, I'm pretty confident that, he'll find it.
We took him out to Dubbo there for the Dubbo Cup, and we took him out, give him a post to post, and he went bonkers the time he ran. And then we took him back the next week and had his first ever 500 out of Lills. It was 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning, -2 degrees, and he went 29.5. So I've got no doubt he'll run a slick 500.
And the record's 37 there, held by Kyrgios. So
his main strength is his bend speed. So I think he'll actually be better around 2 bends. It'll be interesting to see, but I think he'll be better around 2 bends because his bend speed is just off the charts.
When you're running, and I've done a lot of fall around Maitland and the Gardens over the years, and when you're running 24.8 at Maitland, you're generally going to get the 500, and you're going to run time around the Gardens. That early section, he'll be just airborne in those early stages, and you'll set up a big lead on that top turn. He's only been over the 500 metre once, whereas Casual Glance has been over it a number of times. One at, I think, Gunnedah, the Gardens, Dubbo, Wendy Park. What was it? Just he had more strength in the early days to get him over the 500. What was the reason there?
We had troubles with his blood early on. He's a dog that really feels the cold. Like he was getting double rugged 6 weeks before any of the other dogs. He just wasn't seasoned enough. He just had that explosive early burn. We always knew that he'd get to the stage that he would, but we just needed a little bit of patience with him. And once we got his bloods right, he kept blood crashing on us. He wasn't coping with the work, but now he's good as gold. Now he's seasoned out and he's ready to go.
Hey, Michelle, both of the boys, they're by Kibo out of Nesquik. Now, Nesquik is a daughter of Thickness.
Yep.
Thickness is a daughter of Special Sauce, which you and Mick bought off your dad for $500. And that's literally where it all began for you guys with the breeding of your line.
Yep, that's right. And she was by a dog called Tambray Gravy, who was actually a son of Go Wild Teddy. So, it's a pretty good story, that in itself. And Tambray Gravy only had 3 starts, and he actually broke the track record at Richmond at his 2nd start, and then broke down soon after that. So, and she was an amazing bitch for us, like for what she did, she gave us so many thrills. She gave us our first Wentworth Park winner. She won 14 races. And like back then, sometimes we were so broke, and we couldn't even go and watch her, and she'd come out and win. And it was just amazing. And and it was our first dog together too. So we sort of, it was a fairy tale almost,
Yeah, first dog together. That's where the special come from, and then the sauce come from Gravy. Yeah. So.
Yeah, by Tambray Gravy. So sort of I came up with that name. And then we sort of
decided the brains and the hard work of the operation, Mickey. See,
100%, 100%.
You guys have invested heavily in the industry. You've poured about 150,000 into the kennel block on your property at Greta in the Hunter Valley. Tell us a little bit about the kennel block and what facilities in there and whatnot.
Oh, it's sort of been envisioned in my head the sort of last 15 years how I want it to be set up, and finally we're sort of at a stage in our lives now where we can sort of aim for them goals that we've been dreaming about, and sort of how it's going to be set up is sort of how I've envisioned it. I've dreamed about it over the last sort of 10 or 15 years. And so it's 18 metres. This is just stage 1. It's 18 metres long, 9 metres wide, and we'll have 14 kennels up the right-hand side. The aircon mob's just been in today. We have a big 9.5 kilowatt Dakin split system in it. All the fans are in. lights. Kitchen's getting built now. It's sort of halfway there. There's a big back deck of it, new emptying yards, little sprint yards at the back. And stage 2 will be, we've got an 18-metre long swimming pool up the left-hand side, and then carport off the back. And then there's 6 undercover emptying yards at the back, off the back of the deck, with pool fence fronts. So, we can watch the dogs through the kitchen or off the back deck, and we can see all the dogs. And we'll even have a fan room as well to blow dry the dogs dry after they come out of the pool. So it's going to be pretty gnarly. It's going to be what dreams are made of for us anyway,
That's unbelievable, mate, to achieve something like that for you guys. And obviously the dogs, they've helped you get to that stage. Mick, I just want to ask you mentioned about an 18-metre swimming pool there, and I guess it'll probably raise a few eyebrows with a few trainers who believe that greyhounds are bred to run and not swim. What benefits do you think there are in actually swimming dogs?
Oh, especially for dogs through summertime, especially. I found that the swimming with the horses was all my junior life was working with the horses, and all of it was swimming with them. Swimming and obviously hard work, but I just want to bring that into it with training our dogs. A lot of people take their dogs to the beach to give them a swim, but just the way I want to set me property up is mix their routines up with free galloping, some walking machine work, little sprint yards, swimming, bushwalks, a lot of changing of the routine, and it keeps their brain stimulated. And so we do a fair bit of different stuff with our dogs, and it keeps them fresh in mind. And I think that's a big key to training dogs. You've got to keep them stimulated, especially in today's game,
Well, you're having such a sensational run. You're doing something right, that's for sure. Casual glance, track record holder over the 388 at Gosford. Now you're heading to the blacktop with him, obviously, in his current form. Gee, I bet you're just hoping he can hold his form come April, May next year for the $1 Million Chase.
Oh, yeah, that's what dreams are made of, that one, for sure. It's a shame she got put back because he was just hitting his straps for a bit. We'll just keep him ticking over now. He'll probably have a little break after the blacktop, and then we'll freshen him back up and then go again into Christmas, like a race like the Gosford Cup, and then ease off him again. Hopefully they're still racing well, and then we'll have a crack at the big one, for sure. Wouldn't that be something, Bat? Oh, makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck just thinking about it.
I've actually got goosebumps now thinking about it myself. I've got no involvement.
The 2 races I've always wanted to win growing up, this was before the MDC, was the Maitland Cup and the Melbourne Cup. Still the Melbourne Cup for me, that's a pinnacle with me horse racing background, the Melbourne Cup, JB Cummins winning, what did he win, 12 or 13? Yeah. And Melbourne Cup for me, and we only just got pipped in the Maitland Cup, so hopefully, we can add one of them to the tally with one of these dogs. Would it be amazing?
Hey, Shell, I've got to ask you this. I know I can't ask you who your favourite is because that'd be akin to like asking, who your favourite child is. But they've obviously trialled 2 out together in the past. Over, say, the 400 and 450 at Maitland, who would be the quickest, Casual Glance or More Sauce?
Well, look, their times over those trips, there's not much between them anyway, really. Like Casual Glance he can run just as quick early as well, like maybe over a little bit further, maybe Casual Glance might just get him at the end, but I don't know. They'd be lucky to be half a length between them, really. Like they're just fast dogs, and they've both got that beautiful early speed, it's just amazing. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say who's faster. It's just really, I still don't know, but I still don't think there's much between them, really.
Well, Casual Glance, what's he going? 29.30 around Gosford, running second in the Cup heat and then third in the Cup final. Then Robbie Rotten come out and won a heat of the Gosford Gold Mine, 29.27. So, he's airborne at the moment. He'll be starting back shortly. He's going super. So there's nothing between all 3 of them.
Yeah, I think Robbie's just a little bit less reliable at box rides, though. I think that's, his only fault there. But, I mean, he's fast as well, So, but he's probably the strongest out of the 3 of them, really.
Well, Mick, you think he'll run 600, don't you?
I think so, mate, yeah. Yeah, he's got the physique. He's got the lung capacity. He's got the temperament, more importantly. And 29.27 around Gosford, and his run-home time was off the charts, So, yeah, there's no reason why he can't, with a good prep under him, for sure.
Battler, I guess when you think of the perfect dog you want a dog that can run 500, but more importantly, you want a dog that's got blistering early speed.
Good beginner, brilliant speed, and if you can get to the 500, well, it's game on. And that's, people always say, oh, look at these strong dogs. Look at this get to the line. You know what? Just give me a good beginner. Any day of the week, please, and you're going to knock up winning race after race, which you guys are doing right now.
Young Willis, he have to be the most consistent record going around. Like he's at 27 starts, 17 wins in 8 seconds. Like he's only been unplaced twice, and he's either won first or second in his career, apart from 2 starts. Like that's and just does it week in, week out. Like it's just amazing what that dog can do. I've got him in front, but there's a bit of with the wife. But I've got him a couple of lengths better than the other 2.
Yeah. Hey, I've got to also say, Shell, that you were basically born in dogs. Your dad had them, but your son Aiden also gives you a hand around the property as well. Has he got that infectious love for greyhounds that you 2 guys obviously have?
Oh, he's an animal lover, like he's got all the animals he could want here. We've got plenty of animals here, not just dogs. But yeah, no, he's also got a love for the games as well. So, but I mean, he helps us, and he does enjoy it. Like Aiden's on the autism spectrum as well, so he is a little bit quiet and stuff, but it is good for him to get out with the animals and that, and get amongst it and that. But he enjoys it. So I'm hoping, in a couple of years' time, when he can get his attendance license, he'll be there helping us out for sure.
So g'day, Duke.
Hello.
Hey, Aiden. Hey, I'll ask you because Mum wouldn't tell me. Aiden, who's your favourite, More Sauce or Casual Glance? Willis or Usain?
Willis.
There you go. Hey, there you go. Hey, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, Shell. I know you hate doing media interviews. I've got to say, you have been absolutely bloody sensational, love.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
You can put
I
me in the
can't get off the
spelling
phone
paddock
when I
now.
speak to Mick. Yeah.
You can probably put me in the spelling paddock now so you can take over.
No, sensational,
He
guys.
loves it. I just like to hang around in the background.
Hey, listen, continued success with the team. Again, the best compliments I guess people give other people is what sort of people they are. And I don't mean to embarrass you, but I know Ray McGavin did a story on you recently, and it's a common thread. Fast dogs, great people. So well done. I hope that success continues in the future. And again, good luck with Casual Glance and More Sauce moving forward immediately into the blacktop.
Thank very much, guys.
Thank you.
Great to talk to you.
Nice talking to you.
See you later, Pat.
Well done, guys. Ta-da.
Bye.
Mick and Michelle Lill here on Behind the Boxes. We're going to take a quick break. After this break, we're going to speak with Jaimee Rodgers. We're going to chew the fat, do what's hot, what's not, and hopefully try and find you a winner along the way. All that and more coming up on Behind the Boxes. Welcome back to the Behind the Boxes podcast for this week. Well, as we mentioned at the top of the program, today is Are You OK Day, and one of the organisations that does a fabulous job in promoting mental health awareness and providing programs to help people that are struggling is the Gotcha for Life organisation, which is headed up by media star Gus Worland. Now, a well-known face to punters is Jaimee Rodgers, who is also an ambassador for Gotcha for Life, and she joins us today. Jaimee, welcome to Behind the Boxes. As we all know, mental health issues are very prominent in the lives of so many people. What sort of support does Gotcha for Life provide for people who are struggling to cope?
Yeah, hi guys, and thanks for having me on your podcast. Well, Gotcha for Life is a brilliant charity, and what they really symbolise and trying to get the message out is not to worry alone and to find that mate that you can really confide in and call up and talk through. If you're feeling down or having issues, you have always got a friend that you can reach out to. And Gus is so passionate about this mental health cause, and he's one of those personalities that it's infectious to be around him because he is so positive and so passionate. And I think it is really important to always ask for help and reach out for that if you need it. And the statistics behind mental health, Mark, it's quite staggering. You know, there's 9,000 suicides a day in Australia. That's 3,000 a year. And 45% of Australian adults at some point in their life will suffer from a mental health issue. So the numbers are staggering. They're so high. And that's why I think it's really important that, like what you guys are doing now, we talk about it and raise awareness and make it just part of the conversation.
And I think, I don't think any person, I mean, I'm 60 years of age and I can tell you I've been touched by mental health issues in the past, whether it's a relationship breakdown or something else. I don't think there's many people at my age who haven't been touched by something like that. And again, if you go back 30 and 40 years, there wasn't a program like Got You for Life around.
No, exactly. You're completely right there. And I think as well, during this period of COVID, we're all, I hate that saying that we're all in the same boat, because we're definitely not in the same boat, but we're all weathering this same storm and people are suffering in their own way. And that's why I think it's really important that people are talking about it and reaching out and getting the help that you need, because as you said, this is a time where we are actually talking about it. And I've grown up with my mum that's had mental health issues, and she definitely didn't have the support back in the day of what you get now. And that's why I think it's important we continue this conversation and make it part of what everyone is comfortable talking about.
Jaimee, Are You OK Day is only just one day of the year, but mental health is something that people struggle with every day of the year. What should they do to cope if they are struggling, throughout the year?
Tim, I think the biggest thing is to just always ask for help. And that's why I just love this slogan that Got You for Life always lives by. And that is, don't worry alone. Reach out to your friends, reach out to your support network of whether that is, you might not want to talk to your husband or wife or partner about it, but maybe you can reach out to a friend or call a company like Got You for Life or Lifeline, any of those. There are so many people there that are there to help. And I think it's something that you need to take. So if you are struggling, please reach out and ask for help, because there is plenty of it now that's available.
Jaimee, not many people may be aware that in a previous life you were an elite swimmer, and next year you're planning to swim the English Channel in a bid to raise awareness for the Got You for Life organisation. Now, more people have actually climbed Mount Everest than have swum the English Channel. Where did your inspiration for this come from?
Mark, I actually didn't know that stat until after I'd committed to swimming the English Channel. I started reading those things thinking, oh my gosh, this is an enormous thing that I'm taking on. So it all came about when I was hosting the Big Sports Breakfast. And a lot of your listeners have no doubt hopefully tuned in and heard us. So we were talking about Chloe McArdle. She is an Australian marathon swimmer who last year was over in the UK attempting to break the men's record of the amount of channel crossings, which she did. And she's actually over there now trying to break the world record. And it was while we were talking about this swim, and Laurie Daly actually said to me, come on, Jaimee, you need a challenge. Come on, you need to do something. And I said on air, I was like, I might do a 5K swim. And it was even Laurie that was like, 5Ks, come on, you actually need a challenge. And we sort of parked it there. And when I got home, my husband said, well, why don't you try and swim the English Channel? And I just looked at him and said, because I could not think of anything worse. And I couldn't. At that time, I literally thought that would be the worst thing to do. And, people always say when you have a goal, it should excite you a lot and scare you a little. Well, in this case, it excites me a lot, but it scares me a lot more. But the more that I looked into it, and because once I got in my head, and you guys know me, I've always been someone that I like to work towards goals, and I look into things and I start to research it, and I start to get really quite excited about the challenge. And also because I was a swimmer, and I still am, but I've always swam in the pool, and it's completely different swimming in the ocean. I've had to change my technique, had to reach out and join new swimming groups, and I've met amazing people who are all helping me along the way. But yeah, so I've had Chloe McArdle and my husband. So whenever Dave is like, oh, you've got to go training again, I'm like, well, this is all thanks to you. So it's been really interesting. I've loved it so far.
And you're not just swimming to raise awareness, Jaimee. You're looking to raise big dollars, and you've got a target of 50 grand.
Yeah, so that's right. I wanted to raise $50,000, and I did speak to Gus when I had this idea in my head, and I just wanted to get a number that would actually make a difference. And I mentioned those suicide rates at the start of the show, and I want to do what I can to bring that down to zero. So that $50,000 will go towards programs in schools and out in the workplace that can just help with that mental fitness. And I feel like swimming the English Channel is going to be 20% physical and 80% mental. So I thought this was a really perfect way to raise awareness about mental health and raise some money along the way that will actually go and make a difference.
Jaimee, I remember the great Des Renford swimming the English Channel during the 1970s and 1980s. I think he swam it around 19 times, and he wasn't a young man when he started off doing that. What's going to be the toughest part of the swim? You mentioned that you grew up as a pool swimmer, and as we know, the ocean is totally different. You've got sea urchins, for example, in the channel there. It's around 35 k's there.
Yeah.
What are going to be some of the biggest obstacles you'll have to overcome as a swimmer?
So the biggest issues that I've already started to find is the cold temperature. So I'm swimming a lot during our winter because this winter is pretty much crucial for my success next year. And what I'm finding is I get really cold really easily. And my swimming coach keeps reminding me that it is just about practicing. It is just being used to being submerged in that cold water. So without a doubt, the cold temperature is going to be an issue for me. I don't mind the jellyfish. That's not a huge issue because you do get stung quite a lot. It's not a matter of if you'll get stung, it's when and how often. But for me, it's definitely the cold. I don't mind swimming in big waves. I don't mind swimming against currents. None of that is a problem because that you can almost prepare for. I will be strong and I am working a lot on my strength and my technique and that sort of stuff. But something like the cold, I can't necessarily control because you don't wear a wetsuit in the channel. So I'm now out there in the middle of our winter in my Speedos, and I often get pulled aside where people say, "What are you doing? Why aren't you wearing a wetsuit?" And I say to them, well, this is me trying to acclimatize because obviously I'm by myself now during lockdown. All the people I usually swim with are all in the eastern suburbs. So I am swimming by myself, which has been interesting.
You do coat yourself with Vaseline, but I've seen that.
Not at the moment, but I will in the channel, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you see them absolutely laden with Vaseline over their body.
Yeah, so that'll be a little bit of warmth to help me, but it's just practicing. So a lot of cold showers, I will have ice baths, and it is just spending the hours here in the ocean during our winter.
And Jaimee, what do you do basically to prepare yourself mentally for the swim? You've mentioned physically. What about mentally?
That's a really good question, Tim. I haven't actually been asked that before, and that is a really good question. To prepare for me mentally, I know what I'm like in that I like everything to be prepared, and I know that I need to be in my tip-top physical condition. But the thing with the channel, though, is it's so unpredictable of when you'll actually leave. So you get given a window of a week. So mine's from the 3rd till the 8th of August. And my pilot could ring me at 10 o'clock that morning on the 3rd and say, "Jaimee, you're leaving at midnight tonight." So, but then he might ring me at 11 p.m. and say, "Actually, the swim's not now because the weather's not great." And so that apparently, from what other swimmers have said, that mind game of when you actually don't know when you're going can mess with you quite a lot, and you are staying down near the water, and it's just that waiting game. So that, I don't know how I'll prepare for that because I'm someone that likes to be so regimented and strict. And it's probably what this lockdown has actually probably worked in my favor because I've had to adapt and change and go with the flow and change my training to suit what is happening with the rest of our world. So lockdown's probably how I'm going to be preparing for that, but also just my training, making sure that I'm doing everything that I know that I'm doing will get me across that English Channel.
And where can our listeners and viewers find out a little bit more, and more importantly, where can they donate?
So I set up a website, and it's at jaimee.com.au. I had to just go with my name because Tabcorp owns my full name. And do you think I can figure out how to buy that back? No, we've got with jaimee.com.au. But also through my Instagram, I try and put a lot of stuff up there, what I'm doing with my training. And it's also got the URL of how to donate because it's quite a long link. It's Jaimee-Rodgers-UK-swim-Raisley. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to put that URL.
It's there on the screen right now for us, yeah.
Right there on the screen, which makes it a lot easier rather than me trying to rattle it off. So it's right there on the screen. And also I've put it on Instagram. It's on my website and you can click through there and donate.
Jaimee, good luck for the swim. I actually just took a phone call from Tony Mestrov.
Oh.
Who is the CEO of Greyhound Racing New South Wales, and Greyhound Racing New South Wales are going to donate $1,000 to swim. So good on you, boss.
Thank you. That's so amazing. Thank you so much, guys. I really, really, really appreciate that.
Just remind us again about the Gotcha for Life website and where people can go to reach out to them.
Yeah, definitely head on to the Gotcha for Life website because there's also not only has it got all their contact details, but it's also got a whole wealth of information of different courses that you can go and do and different ways that you can reach out to people. And follow Gus on social media, follow Got You for Life on social media. And the reason why I think you should follow them is because they're constantly posting just nice, positive things, and also exercises of what you can be doing during this lockdown and different ways that you can get through any of the mental health challenges that you might be facing. So I know one of the strategies and techniques that people often say when you are struggling is to turn off your social media. But I do think it is nice to check in on someone like a Gus Worland or a Got You for Life, because it's a really positive message that they're putting out there.
Yeah, well, good luck with the swim. Good luck with reaching that target of $50,000. We'll check in with you. I know it's not till August next year, but we'll check in with you before then. We'll follow it closely. And again, well done with what you're doing, and also good luck with the Got You for Life program as well.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, guys, for having me on, and again for donating that $1,000. I really appreciate it.
Good on you. Jaimee Rodgers there joining us on Behind the Boxes this week as she embarks on an English Channel swim battler. I don't know about you, but at my age now, I'm flat out swimming 50 metres at the local pool, let alone going across the road to the beach.
I've got about 20 years on you, Duke. I can guarantee you I'd struggle swimming 50 metres in a pool. But yeah, it's quite a remarkable challenge. I just can't get my head around it, to be quite frank. I really can't. I think it's something that Jaimee will, you know, in years to come, she'll look back and just basically say, well, you know, I looked at that challenge, I took it up, and I've conquered it in time. And yeah, and in the process, raising awareness and raising great coin for a very, very important cause, Duke.
It is. All right. As I say, reach out to a mate, reach out to a friend, whether it's your partner, your child, just anyone. If you are struggling, you know, Are You OK Day, as we said, is just one day of the year, but the other 364 days do that as well. Now, Battler, earlier in the week, we had the Greyhounds Clubs Australia Greyhound of the Year announcements made for 2020 and 2021. Tommy Shelby, the Golden Easter Egg winner, took out the Greyhound of the Year. New South Wales fared well, but Stanley Road, trained by Mark Gatt for Eddie Kingswell, it won the Run of the Year with remarkable performance to take out that Association Cup.
Sure was, and I was actually calling that race, Duke, and he was back near last. I think he was probably 12 to 13 from the leader. With a lap to go, he began to gradually make ground down the back straight. Then he ran into a half a dead end on the top corner. And at that stage, I think in the call, I might have said, oh, he's looking for a run, couldn't get through. And then 20, 30 metres later, the run appeared. He was still probably 6 off them on the home corner. And then I kept an eye on him, and I knew he was coming. And then you just see him launching up the inside there to get up and score a last stride victory. It was one of the biggest wins I've seen at Wentworth Park. And I think he certainly was a worthy winner of the Run of the Year. And I like to see, you know, it's quite easy, Duke, when people are talking, you know, Run of the Year, and they want to just say, oh, track record run, you know. Track records, you know, it can be dependent on the day, whether it's run a day or night meeting conditions. That's why I think the runs of the year have to go to these big wins, you know, when they've done something special in the run and not just run a track record. So, yeah, he was a worthy winner. Tommy Shelby, well, we know what he did all throughout the year, 3 Group 1s. And what was good about him, he just travelled far and wide. Tassie, Victoria, up here in Sydney, he won the Golden Easter Egg. We saw him here last year in the $1 Million Chase as well. So, again, another worthy winner of the Greyhound of the Year.
And we also saw one of the doyens of the greyhound racing media, Jeff Collison, admitted as a Hall of Fame member as well.
Yeah, great honour for Jeff. And I was actually surprised, Duke, I've got to say, I thought he would have already been in the Hall of Fame, knowing Pigeon for so long and what he's done within the industry. It's a great honour. I know he'd be absolutely chuffed being put into the Hall of Fame. Began his career in 1962 at the Daily Mirror. Was the wine and greyhound rider all the way through. He's got some great stories. If you ever get a chance to sit down and have a chat to Jeff, I know I've heard a couple of stories of the days when he was tipping to Kerry Packer in the 1980s, I think it might have been. So yeah, he's He's retired from the Daily Telegraph and News Corp back in I think 2012 or thereabouts, and now he writes for Greyhound Racing New South Wales. He's always pretty much the first guy at Whitworth Park, and he never misses a meeting. And the first bloke you'd run into, Jeff. I know at one stage there I was going. It was a midweek. It was a Wednesday night meeting, and I was in the city for whatever reason. I got there about 4:30 in the afternoon. The first race was 7 o'clock. Anyway, the first bloke I run into, Jeff, I think he was there about 4:45, so he gets into the racetrack nice and early. He's always a friendly face, and I know in my time in the media, if I ever needed, find out something, and you could easily just pick up the phone, ring Jeff, and he'd have the answer. He's a greyhound racing encyclopedia. So, it was great to see him honoured with that induction into the Australian Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's a worthy winner. I've known Jeff since I was a kid when I was going to Harold Park and Wentworth Park with Bruce and Julie Fletcher. I was working for Bruce. Bruce was bookmaking at the time, and they were very good friends with Jeff. So that is about 1976. And I imagine he would be suffering massive withdrawals at the moment by not being able to go to Wentworth Park for a start. But on the flip side of that, Jeff is a mad and fanatical Manly supporter. So this year, he's been inducted into the Hall of Fame. I know he loves his wine, he loves his family, he loves his dogs. But I tell you what, Battler, if Manly were able to win the NRL Premiership, that would be. I reckon that'd be Pigeon's best year ever.
Yeah, I didn't know that, Duke. I've got to say, I've always held Jeff very high on a now he's just come down a fraction, Jeffrey, knowing you're a Manly supporter. I know.
Can't pot him for that.
I know our CEO of Greyhound Racing New South Wales. I might get a spray after mentioning that now.
No, he did play for South as well, but Tony.
Yeah, true, that's a good point. But he is tipping Manly, and he's pushing for Manly, I think, this year. But I didn't know that about Jeff. But it will cap off a fantastic year if Manly can win. But I'll tell you what, we're all looking forward to getting back to Wentworth Park when things begin to open up a little bit more here in Sydney. And I know the bloke who'll be very eager will certainly be Jeff. He'll be. I can guarantee you one thing: he will be the first there on track on the first night we're back at Wedding.
Mate, if it's a Saturday night meeting, he'll be lined up on the Friday. Yeah. Hey, listen, the feedback we get from our viewers and from our listeners, Battler, is that they love our What's Hot and What's Not segment, right? So what is hot for you this week?
Young greyhound by the name, I should say, not he's my dog to follow.
No, what's hot, Battler? Not dogs to follow.
Dog to follow. I was going off too early.
Are you okay, Battler? Are you okay?
Look, I'm struggling. We went into lockdown on June 20th.
No, it's what's hot, the segment I just said that people really love. Right?
Peter Carr. Peter's a trainer. He's based out near beautiful Mudgee. And I'll tell you what, I looked into his record over the last, 5 weeks. Since August 1, Duke, he's had 17 starters for 10 winners. Winning strike rate of a little over 58%. He had a winning treble at Dubbo last Saturday night. And he's having a great run with a litter at the moment. The second litter of El Casey by Aston DB, and the first litter produced Jimmy Casey, Charlie Casey, who we both know really well. Jimmy Casey made a $1 million chase final, and Charlie Casey, he made the Group 1 Dapto Megastar. So that first litter produced some really talented greyhounds, and their second litter by El Casey's produced a few as well. So Peter Carr, he's my What's Hot this week, having a tremendous run, and he's a nice fella, and good to see him having such a good run with his greyhounds at the moment.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's hot for me, Battler, the 350-metre track record at Grafton. So if we go back a few weeks, Orson Laurie broke that track record and set a new mark at 1981 at his first start as a maiden. We discussed it and we showed him. Diamond Jill last Wednesday, she equalled that mark in 1981, first up for 6 months. As we said last week, a great training performance by Frank Hancock. And then on Sunday evening, Zipping Lopez, who is another member of the Zipping Garth Zipping Lily litter, trained by Jason McKay, owned by Marty and Fiona Hallinan. He had one start at Maitland in early July. He led by 10, suffered a bad hind leg injury when winning there. He was first up since that run. And on Sunday evening, he had the red. He absolutely flew out, and he also equaled the track record. Now, I know we're only sort of 3 months in, but the thing that really strikes me is particularly Orson Laurie and Zipping Lopez, two very young dogs, equaling a track record mark.
Yeah, he's a real talent, and being such a brilliant beginner on that high speed, in the first 50 to 100 metres, you're going to win more races than not, Duke. That track record, and I think we highlighted it a couple of weeks ago, a couple of the really good dogs which have gone either, run the 1985s and thereabouts, and they're race dogs too, have won 10, 12 races. So these young dogs coming through and doing it now, they've got a big future. And yeah, it's quite remarkable, this Leonard Byers Ibn Garth, and he's having a tremendous run. I think we're going to be talking about him as a sire for a number of years, Duke.
Yeah. So that's our what's hot. Hey, Battler, what is not hot at North Rocks where you live in Sydney?
I'll tell you what is not hot. Last Wednesday night, Duke, we recorded this show in the afternoon, and I went up to Coles that evening. It was, I think the second or third time I'd been out of the house for a week or two. The trip up to Coles, it's very exciting here. And lo and behold, a couple of streets up the road, a house had turned their Christmas lights on. These imbeciles on the 1st of September. On the 1st of September, have turned their Christmas lights on. Now turn it up. I can call December 1, but September 1, the Christmas lights are turned on. I know we're all struggling a little bit in lockdown, and we're doing a few little crazy things. Believe me, I've done a few, but come on, turn it up. Turning your Christmas lights on September 1, that is not hot at all.
I'll tell you what you need to do, Battler. You need to go up to that house, knock on the door, and say to that person, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I do. They can't be coping, as I said. I might go for a little drive up tonight and just see how they're travelling. Oh, listen, I'll tell you what else I've got to bring up. You know what I think we should do on the show?
What's that?
We should have a rumour mill segment. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a rumour mill?
Doesn't the greyhound industry love a rumour?
Oh, you hear 3,000 or 4,000 a day. But the latest one, and you've brought this upon yourself, to be quite frank.
Oh, right.
You mentioned on this show last week you were moving to Grafton.
I am next week.
Yes. Well, then I got a couple of phone calls and I've had a couple of messages. Duke Loss is going to Grafton and he's going to take over the running of the club. Breaking news. What have you got for us? What are you going to tell us? Any truth to that rumour?
Battler, when you have a big announcement to make, it's only fair that you break it on your own show, right? So today I can tell you that, yes, I'm moving to Grafton. Absolute BS, right? Not a scary whatsoever. Seriously, I did say to Johnny Corrigan, when I get down there, mate, I'm happy to help out in the club, whether it's run the barbecue. I don't care. I want to be involved in the club in some way, shape or form. I am going to train a couple of dogs. It's been 25 years since I actually put a collar and lead on a dog. So if anyone's got a handy dog, they want to sell it at a fair price. I'm also after a 2-dog walker and a hydro bath as well. Right? So I need that. Bought an ultrasonic. I bought a laser. Absolute crap. No, I am not going to. Glenn Heaton does a great job. So, but you know what? I suppose the good thing is, if they're talking about me, they're leaving some other poor bugger alone.
Yeah, that's right. They're leaving me. And I've heard a few different rumours about me over the years. There are a couple of beauties here and there. And I'm sure
I think I started a couple of them about you. But anyway, that's irrelevant. But no, I am looking forward to Grafton. Yeah.
Are you going to continue to? Have you sold the apartment at Palm Beach and Sydney? Or are they just going to be your little getaways along with the Grafton big property? What do you got? 30, 40 acres or something?
Yeah. It's an 800-metre square block. I have sold Palm Beach, and I'm still doing it. If I was going half as good as you, it might be sweet. But I'm looking forward. I tell you, I can't wait to get to Grafton. I really am looking forward. More importantly, I am looking forward to training a couple of dogs. I've missed it so much since I stopped. I've wanted to do it, but obviously because of my gigs with Sky and everyone else. So I'll still do my contracting work for GR and SW, and plus all our other clients that we've got as well. But mate, I'm so looking forward to training a couple. And we've got 2 kennels going into the shed. So as I said, looking for a couple of handy dogs, pay decent money. I need a 2-dog walker and a hydro bath, heated hydro bath with that as well. Now listen, we should start that, the rumour mill. We could take up a whole show each week with the river.
Oh, wouldn't we get into trouble? Oh, it'd be it. Yeah,
Legals would have to case the show every week. All right, let's try and find some winners. Who is your dog to follow this week?
Yeah, a young dog by the name of Powderfinger. My favourite band. Yeah, I love the band. I mentioned to the producer about playing a bit of music, but the producer's not a fan of Powderfinger.
Really?
Very, very poor taste in music. But anyway, I won't go there. Young greyhound trained by Jody Lord. Has only had the 6 runs, 4 wins. Very impressive at now on Monday. Began poorly, got a run through at the first turn, went to the top into the back straight, then let go mid-race. Look, is young, immature, but gee, when the penny does drop, I think this guy could be a group dog. Over the middle journey, you never know whether they can run the 700 metres, but his run home times at Richmond, at Narrabeen, phenomenal. He runs home at about 12:60, 12:64, thereabouts. The record there, run home time, is 12:53, which was set about 15 years ago. Wow went around there recently and broke the track record, but his run home time was 12:68 or thereabouts. And tell the world's the mum of Powderfinger, she was quite strong as well, but yeah, he's running 12:60 odds home around now. I think he could be a real talent and one to follow, particularly when he does get up, over the longer journeys. If he does mature and does everything right, he could be, a group dog over that middle journey, particularly.
Well, we know Wenty's not racing at the moment. So, Battler, what that means is we've got a sort of a lack of distance racing. So there's a real dearth of stays at the moment. I mean, GRNSW obviously doing their best to program staying races, but a greyhound trained by Dave Richardson is Bar Sandy. Now, Bar Sandy, she won the first ever 660 metre race at Grafton, going 38.11. She ran second in the Grafton Stayers Cup. She's run time at Albion Park over that 710 metres there. She comes up with box 1 at the Gardens on Friday afternoon in a 715 metre race, absolutely perfectly drawn. And I guess, Dave will be like a lot of other trainers. He's got a good stayer on his hand, but at the moment, COVID is dictating terms that he's got to be he's got to be creative in where he places her. So Barsani is a dog. She'll lead up that 7:15. She, she's raced really well at Albion Park in the past, raced well at Grafton, a home track, heads to the Gardens on Friday, box 1. I'm tipping she will be short, but you never go break back and winners, Battlers. So Bar Sandy is my dog to follow this week, mate.
Yeah, very talented. You've mentioned perfectly drawn in box number 1. Should roll forward from that, Ellie. I think you're right. I think we'll go around at a pretty skinny quote, but as you said, we can't go broke backing winners.
All right, before we go, another very popular part of the show is what's Battler bought this week? I'm making this stuff up as we go, but I'm telling you, people love it. Yeah. So
you know what actually happened before we began recording this? A guy turned up at a courier, and I went out, and anyway, the address was right, but the wrong name. And I said, "Oh, what is it?" He said, "Oh, a box of chocolates and desserts and everything like
perfect.
that." Yeah. Anyway, I said, no, it's not for us. I said, I'm not sure, you go and try over the road and whatnot. But yeah, as far as what I've actually bought, not really exciting, but a gurney, a high pressure water.
Love a gurney. I just bought a gurney as well.
Yeah. So I need to give the footpaths and out the back
I love gurney.
Wash. Yeah.
Gurney.
What about an air fryer? Have you got an air fryer?
No. I'm not a fan of the air fryer, but I am a fan of the gurney. I love to see when you get the hose on and it gets rid of the dirt. I'm
I'm a bit that way too.
But I love a gurney. I bought a good one for Grafton.
Yeah. I can't believe you're potting an air fryer.
Nah, mate, I suppose you shouldn't pot it till you try it, but
I'm telling you.
I love cooking. I love hands on. I don't want to just stick stuff in a air fryer.
I do a great roast chicken in an air fryer, Duke.
Yeah. Hey, what about the martini glasses? Did you?
Yeah, we gave them a run on the weekend.
Yeah.
They're okay. Paula enjoyed it more than what I did.
I love an espresso martini.
Yeah, look, it was okay.
Maybe it was the bloke making them.
No, I was good. I was very good. I got all the tips from actually my nephew, who he works in a cocktail bar and does all that. So he gave me a few tips but Paula loved it. I was not entirely sold. I'm happy for a beer and maybe just a Grey Goose, Duke. But maybe I needed to be out and about drinking a martini overlooking the water somewhere. But it was okay. But Paula's keen for me to make him again.
Yeah.
Jury's out.
I love it. I love it. Had a big night on espresso martinis. The Woolloomooloo Hotel one night. It wasn't a happy ending, but it was. When I say happy, sorry, wrong choice of words. It wasn't a happy finale to it, right? But during the night, it was fantastic. I remember we'd gone to China Doll with Jared Batani, one of our great mates, and my old boss at Sky, and then we headed across the road to the Loo, and everything was going great until I got in the cab to go home. So, and another one was in Hong Kong. I'm sure you were with us that day.
Yeah.
We went up the hill.
Yeah. We're right up on the highest building in Hong Kong.
And again, the same thing. I reckon it's the cab. Every time I get in the cab.
I heard it all now. I bet you didn't pay for China Doll or the martini. They're about $20 a pop.
Please.
Yeah.
Hey, great show. Mick and Michelle Lill, Jaimee Rodgers. We've chewed the fat. We've gone what's hot, what's not. We've started the rumour mill. That'll be. I'll tell you, that'll be in next week as well. Al, I hope you are okay. Have a great week, mate, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, good as gold. Been a lot of fun as it always is, Jim.
Sure is. All right, Timmy, the Battler Newbold here on Behind the Boxes, and as I said, if you are struggling, there are plenty of organisations that can lend you a helping hand and support. Gotcha for Life is one of them. Lifeline, Beyond Blue. Do not be afraid to reach out. There is no embarrassment when it comes to mental health. I hope you have a great week. We'll catch you same time, same place next week on Behind the Boxes.